Good morning, boys and girls. This is Miss Franger speaking. I know that we are all practicing our order of operations this week. I know a few of you might have some quizzes that's happening tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure you felt confident before going into tomorrow. Now, this particular problem looks very, very tricky because we have two parentheses. So before we really get into it, I'm going to write down my um, a helper, which would be the PEMDAS, but I'm going to write it a little different than just writing straight across. So I'm going to write P for parentheses, E for exponents, okay? Then we are going to I'm going to put multiplication and division in the same line, okay? Because even though we know it as PEMDAS and we think, okay, multiplication, maybe that comes first, when we have to think multiplication and division, it's on the same level. So if we see multiplication first, then we do multiplication. But if we see division first, we do division first. And the same goes for addition and subtraction. So as we work through that, we will do that, okay? So the first step we have is parentheses. So when you have a problem that has multiple parentheses in it, you start with the parentheses that's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to start right here with my 5 minus 2, okay? And I know that 5 minus 2 equals 3. So I'm going to bring down my 3. And remember, we're always bringing it down, okay? For those who don't like to bring everything down every time, I need you to make sure you're trying your hardest to remember to bring everything down. So now I'm going to write down our problem. And I'm going now to put in the parentheses from the other one, okay? So 7 plus 3. And we're going to now times what our answer was from 5 minus 2 and add our parentheses. Divided by 4 times 2. All righty. Okay. So now that we have our next parentheses, we're going to do that one. All right. So now see how we have addition first and then we have multiplication. This is when we go back to our PEMDAS and we can see that we have to do multiplication before addition. So we're going to do 3 times 3 first before we do our 7. Okay, so we're going to get 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. And I'm going to bring everything down again. I know it can be frustrating and annoying, but we're doing it, all right? And now we're still in parentheses because we didn't finish everything inside it. So we have 7 plus 9 divided by 4 times 2. Okay, so our next step is still our parentheses. We already did our multiplication. Now we're on to our addition. So 7 plus 9 is 16. And now I'm bringing down everything else. I finished my parentheses, so I'm not going to bring my parentheses down again because now it's just my operations that I'm left with. Okay. So I did all my parentheses. I don't have any exponents. So I'm going to cross out my exponent. And now I have some multiplication division problems that I need to figure out. Notice that you have division that comes first. That's why I picked this problem, so we can recognize that division is here first. So we're going to do the division first before we do the multiplication. So I'm going to bring down, I'm thinking to myself, what is 16 divided by 4? I know that is 4. And I'm going to bring down everything else. So 7 plus 2 plus 4 from 16 divided by 4 times 2. Right? Now I need to do my multiplication. Okay? Just like we were reading a book, we would do the division first because it came first in this stage, okay? So the next one would be 4 times 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. I'm bringing down everything else, 7 plus 2 plus 8. And now This is where I would be happy to see you be able to do all of this inside your head, or even if you needed to draw counters out, whatever works for you, but you could do all three of these at the same time. You know that 8 plus 2 equals 10, and 10 plus 7 is 17. You can figure that out inside your brain. I know you can. All right. So your answer ends up being 17. I know there was a lot of stuff that we went through. So I want you to make sure you're taking your time when you're going through these problems. I know it can be difficult, but I know you are all able to do it. Use this to help you. Use the PEMDAS, write it down every time. And the more organized you stay when you do these problems, meaning every single time you write it down, you will be able to get it right. I always remembered when I was in school, I always thought to myself, if I have a nice upside down triangle, because that's usually what happens, you can figure out your answer and you have like a kind of looks like a triangle here. I always, for some reason, that's how I remembered if I did something the right way because it looks like a triangle. Okay. So make sure you're writing everything down the correct way and make that triangle go down to the answer. Okay. Have a wonderful day. I miss you all. All right. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Bye bye.